Hello, Club Culture family. If you are on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. And if you are on your favorite streaming platform, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you leave us a rating. I have two special guests with me today. This is something new. We got two people. On my right, I have Javassier, OG. And on my left, I have Ingrid. And for episode 30, we're going to kick it off with tax season. We're going to talk about tax season. Ingrid and Javassier are going to put us on to game. They're going to give us a lot of gems about financial topics. And so that's the basis of this episode. So if you ain't got your taxes ready, tune in so that you can figure out how to get ready. All right. So to start off, Javassier, give them a little bit of your background when it comes to tax preparing, accounting. Like, give them your whole background on that.
Somewhat of my background is
Keep the mic up a little bit close to you. There you go.
from school, grammar school to high school. I hated math, but I love numbers. I love manipulating and playing with numbers. Taxes I got into, I would say, around 2003, 2004. In the beginning, you learn just to do the taxes, and you learn quickly it's a dominating field.
Mm-hmm.
If you get tuned into it, like my clientele went from, you work with me in the office. We had Davis, the head of the office. I might as well been a head better last few years.
Yeah.
Just wanting to be able to understand the things I have to pay in financially, why they take taxes from me, why I put in so much money and I can't get back. I had to figure out the tax world.
Okay.
Figure out, what makes this go, what makes these numbers change, and how to really see the best of my income that I'm paying into taxes come back to me.
Yeah. So basically, you had to go through life experience for you to find that interest in finances and accounting.
Absolutely. Being a mom of four, I was never a single parent, but being a mother of four and trying to balance the world financially for those to make sure my kids also understood financial wealth and health and how their credits can really affect them in life long term, because I wasn't taught that young.
Mm-hmm.
I blow through, I really do. I blew through what people make in a year 2-3 times in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, because I didn't have financial education that stabilized what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But now, my oldest son,
Yeah.
I didn't teach him as much. I taught him a few things, but to be at his age with a 20, I think he's 28, with a credit score of like 837, and his financial stability and credit is like his most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. I love that for him, because it's easy to mess up your credit, easy to get things on, but it is so hard to get it off.
Yeah. So what about you, Ingrid? Where did your background come from, or your interest spark when it came to financial literacy?
So I'm originally from New York,
Okay.
and born and raised in the Bronx. And I got into, I moved to Vegas, and then that's where I started working at the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And from the bank, I ended up transferring back to New York, and I learned just so much. I just kept wondering, like my mom, she has all this property in another country, right? Like, she's well off in another country, but then we go back home and we're in the projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got into the bank because I wanted to understand more and how I can help more Blacks and Hispanics become homeowners.
Mm-hmm.
And it started like that. So I was just a banker who was trying to help all the young adolescents understand credit,
Mm-hmm.
even as I'm trying to understand it myself, because I'm the insider now.
Yeah.
That brought open doors for me to meet this woman that I met in Brooklyn, and she started talking to me about financial literacy.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me just one day, like, what if I have $100,000 in the bank, like, what interest would you offer me? And I was just so proud, like 0.73%. And I mean, it's funny now, but it's just really sad us not knowing.
Yeah.
So it's all hidden in plain sight, And I just, from there, I got licensed. I started learning more, being in the bank and seeing the numbers. Like she said, like, I'm a numbers person. Like, it has to make sense. So understanding credit and compounding interest. And, he who understands compounding interest will earn it, and he who doesn't will pay it. So we end up on the end where we're paying interest. We have this credit card, and you pay a little bit extra this month, and then still next month is still the same, and understanding how that's working against you. So that's really how I got into it. I've been in the financial industry 7 years. And last year I partnered with Javasia on a referral basis, and I just learning how everything goes hand in hand. People need to learn the foundation of how a business should even be structured. Like some people just go get LLCs, and it's just like, your business hasn't even made any money yet. Why are you paying for this? Your business, for you to even cross that path, your business should at least be generating revenue for you to even pay state fees and licenses and things like that. So when I went to her, it was just because as a first-time business owner, I needed to understand, and I didn't, and I was just scared. I was like, well, I made some money, but I don't want to pay back taxes. It was like, I made enough, but not enough to where I feel, my peers around me are paying 6 figures in taxes. I'm just like, well, I don't want those problems. Like, how can I learn? And I told her, I'm like, please just break it down to me, because I don't understand, and I've never had a problem asking questions. And I think that people don't progress because they don't want to ask questions.
Yeah. And when you say her, you mean Javasia?
Yes.
Okay. Just a quick little background. I also am very close with Javasia on the financial tip too. I came to her, and she helped me start T-Ray Graphics. She gave me the game on having a business plan and choosing between being an S corp, a C corp, a LLC. Like, where actually should I start? So when you said that a lot of people go get LLCs before even knowing like the direction or the trajectory their business will have, I want you to harp a little bit more on that too, like the importance of having that business structure first before you make a choice on what structure your business should have. It should be LLC, C corp, S corp, nonprofit. Like, give them the game on like the differences of all of those different types of business structures, and which one probably makes the most sense for a young entrepreneur.
Well, I can't really say which will make the best sense for the young entrepreneur. What I will say is, when you get your business mindset, set a goal for yourself. If you hit the goal, you aim too low. So now you want to structure yourself. I would tell anybody that's start as a sole proprietor, which is still under the tax-free. You don't pay taxes on the sole proprietor. You're just learning the business there. The next level would always be a LLC, and I'll tell you why LLC is important to me. That's the first step, but an LLC gives you an umbrella effect that protects you personally. It takes you away from your business as its own entity. So now you have two business. Now you're in the tax world, but you're employed by your company. And everything about that LLC. Like, if you're LLC, you don't pay taxes on your home. You get a lot of breaks. If you have 5 businesses, you put them all under that LLC. That LLC separates them. So say you had T-Ray Graphics, and then you also opened a lawn service, but something went wrong with a client and you get sued or something big happens and they hit that lawn service. It does not touch you, and it can't touch your other businesses. I love the umbrella effect of LLC. S Corp is when you move a little higher financially. S Corp and a C Corp, corporations in general. Corporations make you have to pay way more to even establish. Like, they shut your business down if you just don't pay taxes to be part of that. But S Corp takes you completely out. You're an employee for your own business, but you now have to have a payroll system. You have to set up a foundation to be able to continue to allow that to grow. You're now a corporation where you can branch off and make other businesses the same lineup, but still under that corporation, and it keeps you protected as well. You can't be sued for anything that's going on with your business. Your personal capacity is never hit when it's S Corp, C Corp, and things like that. So it's just all about, like, right now I'm S Corp, but C Corporation to me is the next step up. I'm in the middle. If I go another step up, and the only reason I step back now is because you see I've moved away. I move away, but that don't take my business away. I come back here and do what I have to do and keep going. But it gives me the ability to sit back and relax and work 4 months of a year and take care of myself for the next 2 to 3 years. So to get into the corporation world, it's when you would start making six figures or better, and you want to protect yourself from getting lawsuits and getting this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
You always want to protect yourself because long term, that's what hits.
Yeah.
If you don't get into the limited liabilities, which is the LLCs, limited liabilities because they limit what can happen to you. But the very next step up is the corporation world, where you're taking every bit of responsibility off yourself.
So with the so explain the sole proprietorship, because I think like that's a buzzword for a lot of young entrepreneurs right now. They hear it so much.
Sole proprietor is entering the business world, going to the IRS site, saying, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to be in the business world. This is the name I want to be. Sole proprietor gives you the ability to be paid under an EIN, Employee's Identification Number. So they're not talking to you. They're talking to your business. But when you do your taxes, you and that sole proprietor come as one. You're back where you started. It's a backward slash for me. So a sole proprietor is just an entry into the world of business. But the IRS would recognize you.
When it comes to taxes, talk a little bit about certain tax breaks that those business structures do have.
The way we're set up right now, it's so funny because it's the Democrat versus the Republican thing. And I'll say this. Republicans are not bad. I never really care for them, but I'm not political. I don't care for it. In the business world, the S corps and the tax brackets that a business get, we're going to eat regardless.
Yeah.
If you make the minimum, yahoo, we're going to tell you to make the minimum because we want to maximize what we get. We get, after we make six figures, we get the biggest tax breaks of 30 to 40% off in the tax world because it protects us. In the sole proprietor world, you have no protection. You're going to get picked on as the little guy.
Yeah.
So from a business aspect, and a tax aspect, when it comes to like the corporations and sole proprietors, that's when I tell you, that's when you definitely, when you six figures, you need to move to that next step.
Okay.
And protect yourself, come up out of that world where I made, say, the first year of daycare because I couldn't get things that I needed in daycare. So I became that daycare. And in the first year I made close to $300,000. But when you start your taxes, I owed almost $100,000. And I had to learn how to break my numbers down.
Yeah.
What could the tax world do for me and add to me? And learn how to create that Schedule C and make everything I've ever bought or did, down to the toilet paper you buy for your house, work for you.
Yeah.
Everything is an expense. So to line it up in the tax world, the more you make, the less you pay. If you really know your numbers, if you know what you're doing. But if you get a minimum person, because she has a business client she's had to introduce me to before, and this lady pays over six figures in taxes, but couldn't tell you what she pays it to. Like she really didn't understand.
Yeah.
And whoever's doing your taxes isn't really breaking it down. Well, my CPA this and my CPA A, an accountant is not a tax rep. We work the same number game, but we're not the same at all. We're not even closely related.
Yeah.
They'll never understand my world, and I don't understand theirs. They will.
Yeah.
So just the literacy that comes behind the taxes is very, very important when it comes to even having a business, because that lady still can't tell you why she pays so much in taxes. I make on a regular. I looked at some of the things she made, and I can make very close to that, and I bet you in the end I can still bring myself a refund.
So could you explain the difference between a tax preparer and a CPA? And also what is a CPA?
A CPA is actually an accountant, but let me tell you, I'm a tax preparer. The difference is I know your tax situation. I listen to your tax needs. I feed into what you've done. I need receipts. Yeah, I do need receipts, and I take time and itemize everything down to your drive and the food you spend. If you're taking us all out on lunch, what did that entertainment cost? Was it a business expense? A CPA is your accountant. They're watching how you spend your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're not telling you, hey, line this up. Because you can get something as simple as DocuScan and just keep scanning your receipts, and it'll put it in brackets and categories for you and line up your taxes. They can work close, but they don't care. That's not their job.
Yeah.
Their job is just to monitor your spending and why did you buy this expensive first?
Yeah.
And this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
The difference between us is one of us care about your taxes and how It affects you long run. The other one just cares about your money and this is what I'm gonna do because this is all I'm paid to do. They do the very bare minimum to me. Very bare minimum.
They sound like you got some beef with CPAs.
To a degree, because I really feel like they don't give you the literacy you need. And okay, I'm gonna tell you, you can't spend your money your way, but I'm not telling you really why. I'm not telling you line this up. I'm not telling you, yeah, all right, Tamaya, you wanted these Jordans and you're gonna go on an interview, make it a part of your business expense because your appearance is still a part of your business.
Yeah.
They're just, oh, okay. Well, why do you need that?
Yeah.
She's a, why do you need that? I'll be in a store and she's, do you really need that? Nope, but I want it and it's going to work for me in the end because I'm a tax preparer and I know how to make it work for me.
Yeah, yeah.
My beef with them is they don't take time to give you the literacy you need to grow and to make that financial connection between us. Because if I talk to the right CPA and they give me the right lineup, I can pop your taxes in about 15, 20 minutes without you ever being present because they land things up. You got a real structured friend. She could have asked anything. She told her exactly what she had, every business, but she's not a CPA. She's just real structured like that. If a CPA takes time, an accountant takes time to really learn you like that, and if they're in it for your best interest, line you up right.
Yeah.
Don't do the bare minimum. You get paid the maximum, but you're doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Because this is all your job description says. You can sit anybody in front of me and okay, your numbers don't look good to me. Let me work with you. And I'm going to bring it to the best advantage of you. It's not all about me. It's about you because you're going to bring somebody back because I did that.
Yeah.
So I just create that seed in others.
I think like a question that I often ask people is like, how does it make you feel knowing that, the government, you loaned your money to the government at a 0% interest. And then they just gave it back to you at the end of the year, like you made nothing off of loaning them some money, but they did.
Yeah.
They made a lot of money off of your money. And everyone always wants like a tax refund, but if you understood what it was, it's just you overpaying.
Yeah,
I'd rather have nothing and know that my money's growing for me. Just like what they're doing with, they're trying to grow your money and use it for their purposes.
It goes a little deeper with that. Like, yeah, you lend your money to the government, but at times you don't even know you go put $100,000 in a bank and they can lend that out 6 times. And yeah, you can tell me I'm the NAV for a loan with you.
Yeah.
But you sending my money to whoever you want to send it to.
Yeah.
And if you go there and the bank really don't protect you. If they go down, if the bank sinks, you just lost your money. There's no repercussion behind that.
Yeah. That's
none at all. That's
explain
crazy.
that a little bit for the people that are unaware with banking. So you said it, you can deposit money, start an account with a bank, and they use your money to go loan it and get a percentage off of with the interest. And when you're ready to go get your money back, you don't have any interest. They give you like a 0.02% if you have it in your savings. So
that's what they give you. But imagine going into a bank, and I want to say it was Chief Keef that went in there to get a large amount of his own money.
Soldier Boy.
Yeah. And they didn't have it. How the hell is that even possible?
Yeah.
I can answer that.
Answer that, Ingrid.
Please, banker, because I got problems with them.
Because the bank only carries a certain amount of money, right? Because they have to be able to distribute throughout the day, right? So if it's 9 a.m., 10 a.m., the day just started, and you come in trying to withdraw $30,000, it's like, no, you have to call the bank first and let them know 2 days prior that this is what you want to do. So people think like, well, it's in my bank account. You're a bank. Like you can't go to a small bank and think that they're going to have, you have to go to a obviously more popular, busier, bigger, higher paced bank. But still, there's procedures but the bank will make it seem like it's for your protection. And it's in reality that they have to make sure that the money is there and that they're good for the rest of the day.
So don't banks have like a reserve?
Yeah, but that's not in the bank. That's not in the bank. They have just whatever money is going to be used for the day.
Yeah.
And then at a certain time, you'll see like the arm truck guys, and they come and collect that.
Yeah.
Put it away.
Yeah, you got situations like I bank with PNC for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And because I have 4 to 5 accounts, and I have mass money coming in and out of those accounts, they decided one day to close all my accounts, all of them. I just noticed because my debit card stopped working, but I'm in Vegas where they don't have PNC banks. we're going to close it, this, that, and other. When I called, they couldn't give me a reason, this, that, and other. And you seen them just freeze my account yesterday. They closed everything but one. Then I went and picked up money and they froze my account the next day. Now, y'all tell me I got to come get my money. So I moved everything because I can transfer via mobile to one account.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not my major banks because I bank in Vegas too. So let me come in. I'm coming to get a check of $121,000 from your bank because I'm not going to leave my money sitting here while y'all deciding why y'all closing me. I get there 7 days later and had to stay up here an additional 3 days to have the bank manager to come out. He had to write and stamp them checks, and then they put a 30-day hold on it when I went to U.S. Bank and deposit my things. Now, why did they do all of that? Because my money was there. I could have withdrew $10,000 a day if I just set it up that way in cash, so they say. But they really didn't have my money there.
Yeah. They have to large checks. They have to like if it's from a different bank, they have to wait for that check to clear. So it's usually like 7 to 10 business days.
30 is what it took.
Now, if it
30
for real,
days?
man,
30.
that was I've never heard of that.
And that really sits different with me because like I just had a big settlement check.
Yeah.
I deposit 5 days. It's released.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. And then they didn't close all of my accounts. I just woke up the other day and realized it was 8,000 in one of them accounts. The one that they left open, like PNC sent me an alert about something saving and this, that, and other. Why am I getting this? I signed into my online banking and realized within the last month they didn't close. They never closed that account because it's $8,000 just sitting there that I never knew was there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest misunderstanding is that people you grow up thinking that the bank is a savings institution, and it's never been. It's always been a lending institution. You know, like you can have $10,000 in your savings account, but they are not going to approve you for that credit card or that home loan or that car loan. You know, you'd have to use your own money, you know, and build credit that way, like depending on where your credit stands. So that $10,000 that you have sitting and saving in the bank is earning 0.06%. But then they'll lend you your money back in the form of a credit card, and then they'll charge you 15% car loan, depending on, you know, credit, 4, 5, 6%. Home loans, like they're the highest they've ever been right now. It's almost 6, 7%. I don't know. So even like that compounding interest, like I have all this working against me, but am I earning 7% on this 10,000 that I'm graciously leaving in your bank? You know, whatever you keep at the bank is supposed to be for emergencies, like straight up. The money that I have in my savings, I don't want to touch. It's there, but I know that it's not going to grow. So I'm only going to keep a certain amount there. The money that I do want to grow, that I don't want to touch for, you know, I have a specific goal, that I need to make sure that that money's working for me. And that's what people just don't know, because if my mom didn't teach me and my mom's mom didn't teach her, I'm saving in the bank. Yeah. Because that's what society told me to put it at. Yeah. Because who does that benefit?
So do you have any knowledge on where you can put money if it's not in the bank?
Through life insurance and investments. It's the biggest thing that people, I say life insurance, you're like, I'm too young. Yeah. I'm not thinking about that. That's negative. But I'm not talking to you about life insurance. Like, first of all, nobody had to convince you to insure your car. They actually force you to do that. It's mandated by the state. Yeah. Yet, what is your worth life to you? Like, what are you worth? You know, like, and people have no sense of understanding of that. I only have life insurance because it comes with my job. Yeah. But if I lost my job tomorrow, what do I have?
You don't have it anymore.
Nothing. If I lose my job tomorrow, I don't have no benefits. Yeah. I don't have anything. So if I sit here and I tell you, well, what's important to you? And you're like, well, I want my money to grow. I don't ever want to lose money if I put money in an account. I want to be able to have access to this account in case of a real emergency, like where I do have to pull a couple thousand out. It all sounds good. If God forbid, you know, something were to happen to me while I'm alive, can I use this? How can this work for me? And this is like, people think that life insurance is only when you die, but that's just an old, outdated concept. Yeah. You can use it while you're alive. Yeah. If I had a heart attack, stroke, or cancer, what I'm using as an investment account can actually, I don't have to worry about medical bills and all these other things, you know, like this is what I have this for.
So would you recommend that somebody that utilizes their job's benefits and chooses the life insurance policy to also have an outside one?
Absolutely. And it just depends. Like me personally, I have nothing against 401ks, but I know that 401ks just aren't working like people think that they are. Now, if you're heavily into investments and you know how to like go into your accounts and structure it in a certain way, a lot of people don't. I got a job. Oh my God, I got benefits. Woo, sign. And I'm done with it. I'm not looking, they're going to take 5% out of my check. Okay, cool. 5% when I'm doing overtime, that number changes. You know, so it's like I'm working really hard to make more money, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Because 5% is of 1,000 is going to be a higher portion that they're going to take out of my check that week.
Yeah.
And then next week, if I do 1,500, 5% of that is going to be more. So in reality, I'm putting so much more money into this leaking bucket that my money, it can go up with the market or go down with the market. We already experienced it 2008. I was only 18 at that time. I didn't understand. It didn't affect me personally, but it affected my mom. It affected, my family. So I look at all the successful people that I grew up, or idolizing, thinking that they're successful, but they didn't retire successfully. They're actually still working.
Yeah, I like that you switched what you was about to say, because you said I grew up thinking the people that I thought was successful, because that is real for me as well. Like I'm thinking. The auntie that got this insurance job, her kids are looking nice. Like she probably is really well off, when it's really not. Like there's different levels of living in poverty, living a little bit above the poverty line, living in middle class, and then being wealthy, and then actually being a part of the 1%. And so, where would you label yourself? Because when I look at you and I feel like she's well off. So is that accurate if I was to say that about you?
If I would look at it myself, I would say I'm comfortable but not complacent. Because what I did learn is what I thought I knew, the wealth of this, that, and the other. People just see me a certain way. But no, I still have to work my ass off to get to where I am. And then, and you should probably let them know what kind of insurance, because it's a certain kind of insurance that really has this effect. I thought even when I had my 401k and I removed myself from the job world, I thought I saved enough to start myself off. But reality, when you get paid and you're putting in a 401k and you see your gross pay, which is worldwide, and your net pay, they tax you on everything of that gross pay. But when you take that 401k out, you're taxed again. They take a big chunk of that money you already been saving that they've already taxed. So no, where I see myself is I would see I'm not poverty, I'm comfortable but not complacent. That's the only way that's the best way I can explain me.
Okay.
I have an example for you.
Okay.
If you were a farmer, would you want to be taxed on the seed or on the whole harvest?
The whole harvest.
Why?
Because the amount of seeds that I'm putting down, that's a lot.
No, like the one seed.
Oh, just one seed?
Yeah, one.
That will be the entire harvest for that season?
Do I want to get, let me put it to you like this. Do you want to get taxed on $10,000 or do you want to get taxed on $500,000?
If I'm basing it off of what I know about, like the more you make, the more that percentage would be off of what has to be taxed. So I'm gonna say the 10.
Because it makes sense, right? I'm gonna get taxed on the seed, and then it's gonna grow tax free, right? So I'd rather get taxed on the 10,000 while it's a little bit, and then the rest of it is just gonna grow tax free, versus me being taxed on the 500. Is they gonna take a lot more?
Yeah.
Right. So that's how 401k works. I'm not going to tax the seed because that's a little bit. I don't want that. Now, when you're 59 and a half, 65, I want the whole harvest. Because your bank, you think you have 100,000 in retirement, but you don't. Right. First of all, it's been hit with the economy. Whatever the economy's doing, your 401k keeps depleting. Now, people think, okay, I lost 20%, but then, okay, it went up 10%. So no, if you lost 20%, then you're at 80,000.
Yeah.
If you make now an additional 10%, now you're still in a deficit. You're still trying to come up from what you just lost. And then now if I'm retired, this money hasn't even been taxed yet. So I don't even have 80,000. I have less. And then there's 401ks come with like hidden fees and things like that people don't understand, versus just paying for the cost of an insurance. And my money, the cash value of this, if I work it right, it's going to work in my favor. Now, if I put 20,000 in here and it grew to 100,000, let's say, throughout the years, that 100,000 grows tax free.
And when you say in here, you mean the insurance,
the index accounts,
Okay.
specifically, yeah.
Okay. Now I want you to give me some plays. Like let me get a little taste of your expertise. If I am an entrepreneur and let's say I'm a barber, so I don't actually have receipts of everything. I work with cash. How do I still get myself prepared for the tax season to receive a refund of any sorts?
Barbering or anything that's cash method is the actual the average method used. You know your inventory, you know what it takes, and you might not have the paper receipt, but you know what it took for you to build. We look at the minimum, but maximize it when it's time to. All right, your gas, your parking, your entertainment, your product, your inventory you have left. That's what the Schedule C lines up. You tell me what you spent, this, that, and the other. You tell me what that rent cost you for the office, because everything about you becomes an expense, down to your cell phone bill. Everything is an expense at this point. So when you bring it into your tax preparer, I'll tell you, like my real estate agent told me, I'm like a lawyer. Tell me everything so I can tell you your best way.
Yeah.
To avoid this, that, and the other, and I can give you your best outcome to it. So if you tell me everything, I know how to line you up exactly, and that's why I don't. That's my beef with, as you would say, the CPA. They don't line. They'll take your money and tell you what you can and can't do, but they don't line you up. They leave a messy job for us to clean up. So if you're not into keeping all of your receipts, get into knowing a good idea of what you've spent.
Yep.
I need to know what you made for the year. So I need to know really what areas affected you most.
Yeah.
And in situations like COVID, what could have brought your business down? We got so much things out here to help build businesses back up, because COVID did hit the whole world, and a lot of things affected business. Like I might have had to buy in the daycare world more cots or more this, that, and the other to separate kids, because that's a state mandate. You can no longer just go into a big open barbershop. There's certain mandates that changes the way, and the state has to take accountability for that. You get a higher tax bracket of the way you'll get the things you'll save, because they made you have to change your business and the way it operated. For instance, say me and you had a meeting every month. Now we have to do Zoom meetings, and I got to buy more computers because the state say can't more than 7 of us be in a room. It's things like that they change that makes me, all right, well, let's change this number too. All right, let's give inventory in this area. And the more you spend, the better it looks. In reality, it is. If you make $50,000 and you spent about 36, you're positive in the tax world, because your profit and loss statement is saying you're losing opposed to gaining and balancing out. If I spend $50,000 and I've only made, after paying my bills, my food, my this, my that contributes to the business, I only got $14,000, then I lost more than I made.
Yeah.
And that works in your favor.
And how does that work in your favor?
It brings your tax bracket down. So use just as a single person. Say you made $40,000, and because you're tax free, you're on a 1099 because you're in the business world. Your taxes are not taken out unless you go into a payroll system and let them make Tamaya a business, employee of our own business. How it affects you now is everything you've ever made, you got to pay the taxes on. You start up capsized. Like you start off at the bottom. You're going to owe off top. But when I take your inventory and what you had to do into account, I bring your income down. And it's sad, but the way the poverty looks is what actually brings your money back.
Yeah.
The less you make, the more you get back. Is the realest thing I could tell you.
Yeah.
So we really have to capsize your business in a legal way. Because if we don't, you spent all of this to just keep your head above water, and you're finna spend way more. just to the tax system for Uncle Sam because he said you have to.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about businesses. What are some good tips to give people that aren't only employees? They don't have a business to file for their taxes on how to maximize their refunds every year.
On people that are only employees?
Yeah, like they just have personal sets to put out, no businesses.
Open up a business.
I can't say that. Well,
the taxes was written in favor of business owners, not
And it
employees.
is.
So it's
It
like
is.
employees are always mad at business owners, whereas like you have the same 24 hours that I do.
Yeah.
You know, you want to work for someone that's cool, but then don't get mad because the tax rules were not made in your favor.
Yeah.
And until you understand that and accept that, you can't get mad at someone else for maybe being able to itemize and do things because it's like, this was written in my favor. I decided I didn't want to work for anybody, you know?
Sadly, I would also tell, and every taxpayer might grit their teeth at it, but do it. If you're in a business world, say you're just a W-2 employee, I would tell you because legally you can, 6 months of that year, go exempt. Get the most of your money back because you're going to get much or nothing either way it goes. Unless you have kids and now you're getting earned income tax credit and credit from this, that, and the other, and head of household credits. Unless you get those things into play, you're going to wind up owing. I would tell you personally. Hey, I told y'all that earlier before. Go exempt 6 months of the year. Get all of the money. Like if you know you're finna go crazy in overtime for 3-4 months, go into your HRA. I want to change my W-4. I'm going exempt.
Okay.
Let that money come back to you because they're not going to just, oh, you were good and we're giving you your money back. That's not going to happen.
When you sign your tax documents before starting a new job, there's numbers you have to put in. There's little codes. What are the codes that you know offhand that you should put down when you're now at that point of the form when it says exemptions, or do you want the government to take money out?
You want them to take money out because you don't want to wind up capsized, but this is where you do the exempt thing. So say you starting, and you know you're going to go hard for the first part, and you know you're going to do a lot of overtime and give yourself freely. You can either put exempt or put 10 on the amount of dependents you file. Where they ask for you to multiply the number. It's so funny because they said 4,000 per child. You doing 4,000 per dependent, but now they've changed the amount that you get for a dependent to 2,000. So that's not even valid no more. It's 2,000 per dependent that you have to multiply times how many.
Yeah.
But people don't understand. Head of household, 1 dependent. School age. Say I got 5 school age. That's 5 dependents plus the fact that they're school age, this, that, and other. So it gives you a different credit there. The more you add to the credit world, say somebody disabled, or in the tax world, they feel like after 12, you phase out of daycare.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean as a parent that you have to trust your 12-year-old at home 8 to 16 hours a day. No, I still sent my child to daycare, and here's my receipts. When you pay it in cash, you get part of the money back. You got 1,000 people that'll bring in a daycare receipt. You know damn well, excuse me, y'all know that the state is who paid for the daycare. Don't bring me in this $300 slip for $360. You paid $1 a day. You just wasted your time, man. But having your daycare, having your dependency lined up, but when it's just you and there's no kids, go exempt. And if you are a business owner, you know I'm gonna clean up anything I have to. If you got a tax agent that's really in it for the health of your wealth, you'll come out on top. But if you got somebody that's just lazy about the job, you won't. A few things that we all need to do. Don't go exempt the whole year because that'll capsize you. But when you do, make it in a time when you make most money. Like I said, around Christmas season. Right before Thanksgiving, go exempt. Carry that 6 months of the year.
You know that guy that we just took care of that made like $150,000, but he didn't pay almost anything in tax. He had a really good job, works at the hospital. It's like, how do people get caught up and they have really good jobs and then now they're not paying enough and now they owe?
Because they're manipulating their own exemptions and things like that. Because I've given you the math, and I can show you in a book how much of a percentage they can take from you in taxes. When you start taking away, if you know you're making 100 and something thousand, and you only paid, I would say 4 or 5,000 into taxes, you know when you walk in the office, you owe already.
Yeah.
You know that without a doubt. But I can't put a cape on and save you.
Yeah.
When you knew this is what you was doing.
Yeah.
They got to, like I said, 6 months of the year you can do some things. The other 6 months, line it up in black and white so it don't affect you.
Yeah. Now, I want to switch gears and talk about generational wealth because you all were talking about Kanye West earlier before we started rolling. And I wanted to go back to that because you said some great things that a lot of our demographic needs to hear. When you were watching a Kanye West demographic documentary on Netflix, what are some key takeaways you were getting from that as far as like generational wealth, starting somewhere and then taking 20 years to actually see it into fruition?
I think just watching that documentary, I learned like who you surround yourself around is the most important part. Like the people that motivate you, inspire you. Like my friends don't inspire me. I'm in the wrong group of friends. Sometimes most of us think that our circle is our circle, and it ends up being our cage. Because you think like, okay, none of us making it, so we're all, and watching that documentary, what I learned is that it takes time. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the age of social media, everyone wants instant gratification. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I was telling her, it took Kanye over 20 years to become a billionaire, to become the man that he is, you know? And when you watch that documentary, you'll see like, he just has so much confidence and faith in himself. Yeah. And I think that the older that we get and we meet people and we tell them our dreams, we end up telling the wrong people our dreams. Mm-hmm. And, if they dismiss it or try to invalidate, we kind of like, shelter in and go into our own little box because it's like, damn, maybe my dream doesn't work. But what I learned is that if you can't see my dream or my vision, it's because God didn't give it to you. He gave it to me. Yeah. So it's a dream only I can see. Yeah. And I have to keep working towards it no matter how many no's I get. If I'm trying to build generational wealth, then I know that I have to rely on me and information. And like if it doesn't challenge you, it's not going to change you. Yeah. If you don't, if you're not actively trying to learn, no one can help you. Yeah. But if you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. Mm-hmm. And that's what I took from Kanye. He was determined. It didn't matter who said no, what rapper didn't get on his song, what, like when his idols was just like not, really fucking with him like that. Sorry.
You are all good. Y'all can curse. This is an adult podcast.
And often I find myself in that same predicament where it's just like I'm telling people my dreams and it's just like, oh, it's so boring. Yeah. Yeah. Like they don't understand me. They don't understand. I mean, even my closest friends and family, they don't understand my dream, and it's just because God didn't give it to you,
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird reverse though. If you can see that Kanye took 20 such and such years to become who he is.
Close up.
Why are you so hard on yourself? You won't give yourself a year to get to where I am. She's dead hard on herself. I got to do this, that, and other. Hey, this took me a little time. If you can see Kanye, turn that mirror around that you just told me about and look at yourself the same way. It takes time to build. Yeah. And I get that. And you do a great job at building. Yeah. And I'm one of them. How can you do this, that, and the other? Or let me just refer you. No, let's sit down and learn this craft together. Mm-hmm. Let me make you where I was at one point. Mm-hmm. Let's build you to where I am, and hopefully I'm still excelling at that point too. Yeah. So, yay, slightly retarded. I don't care nobody thinks.
We just have to constantly.
But there's a half a gene between insane and genius. Yeah. And I'm not saying that he doesn't do some great things. Yeah. But there's some things that he do that make the whole world look at him weirdly. I know, for real. Like
the documentary, though.
I'm like, is he back on bath salt? Is he drinking bath salt again? Like,
oh my gosh.
Come on, Ye. Come back to us. Like,
yeah, I love that you just took that piece to speak life into her, because I think that's what a lot of people that can hear other people's dreams don't get happen often for them. Life is not being spoken into them. So when they hear other people have life in them, they don't understand it.
It's just, when you're a kid, you have so many dreams and no one like you. I'm gonna be an astronaut, I'm gonna be a doctor, and that's really what you think.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, the reality sets in a little bit, and it's just like we in our 20s and we wake up every day and we tuck our dreams under our pillows.
Yeah.
And we go to work.
Yeah. It's a lot of intangibles for people like us, though. Like, we can learn all the tax breaks and the tips and stuff, but it still would be a much different path for people that look like us. So when I think about Kanye and his journey, I also cannot disregard his journey started with music, and that's heavily pushed in our community. And so you're more likely to get further if you take music in the sports route than it is to take the educational route, because that's what they want us to do. They want to stick us in that lane right there. We're going to have more, it's more of a commodity for you to become wealthy if you are a very great pop star instead of somebody that is just a tax preparer every year that got their clients. You're not going to see that commodity the same as Kanye would. So I can understand you not seeing too much of yourself in him because of that. I want us to take a little break from all the money talk and play this little game that I like to play on the pod called Weird or No. So Devontae, you say you watch the pod here and there, so you know a little bit about Weird or No?
No, I can't say I know.
Okay.
But I like the element of surprise, so go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to read you all a headline, and you just got to tell me both whether it's weird or no. And since it's two of you, you got to agree. So y'all got to come to a consensus on whether that headline is weird or no, and you have a short phrase on why. Amber Rose says dating scene is worse than ever and calls men gross. Is that weird or no?
Weird.
Why?
Amber, look at who she is as as a person.
Yeah.
We're just gonna call her the napkin that's passed around the industry. Amber Rose she says things with a dark mark on her. Mm-hmm. How do you she cut Bill Cosby down? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say this: everybody might not care about him and his actions. Bill Cosby didn't rape nobody. He told them exactly what he was doing. These are grown women that took a drug that and she want to call him a rapist. Amber, let's get your life together first. Okay, the way you move around. The industry. I'm gonna see what you say, weird or not.
She said weird, but
yeah,
why?
I definitely think weird, just because I'm 32. I've dated. I've been heartbroken, and it's just like I'm not gonna blame my past, decisions. Like, it was a decision that I made. Whether it turned out great or tragic. Took my L, learned from it, and move on. I can't. And then if I'm still young enough, love will come. Yeah. But I don't think that men are gross. Like, okay. It's just like, how old are we?
I gave y'all all the time in the world to give y'all an explanation, but now the next one is supposed to be quick and short. One sentence. Jury awards a Portland woman $1 million who tried to buy gas and was told, "I don't serve black people." Is that weird or no?
No.
Weird.
Okay, so we got y'all both said the
fact that they awarded her the money, that's the lady we talked about the other day. That's not weird. She deserved that.
Of them saying they wasn't gonna serve her I thought that was weird. But no, the
actions of her getting the money,
no,
that's
weird
not
at
weird.
all.
Okay.
Rightfully so.
Okay. 25 people in Florida are charged with a scheme to get fake nursing diplomas. Is that weird or no?
They were charged to what?
They were charged with a scheme to try to get fake nursing diplomas. They were charged for that.
Weird.
Weird.
Why?
Respect your hustle, but weird.
Respectfully, because we had to work to get to where we are. Mm-hmm. Imagine somebody going in there and not knowing what they're doing and fuck you up.
Yeah.
Weird. Do you have a school name?
No, I don't. I didn't read the article.
Fuck, I was trying to get mad.
Chris Brown reportedly owes $4 million in back taxes. Several liens have been filed against him. Is that weird or no?
Weird.
I'm going to go with no.
Okay. Well, y'all got to decipher on what it is.
He got too much money to not be responsible. He's a young black man. He already got a target on him. He got to do things. Who's your team?
Let's talk about that orange head Trump that ain't never paid taxes. That makes way more
in
his
him. Words, that makes him smart.
And he's stupid. They ain't bothering him. Don't bother Chris.
He had a great tax preparer.
No, he will not release his tax records, and they not bending on him about that. Mm-hmm. But y'all gonna mess with somebody like I told you before in the tax game. Mm-hmm. They pick on the little people.
Yeah.
Create yourself, create your brand, and excel. Because they're gonna pick on you.
Okay.
Big businesses make it well.
He definitely ain't little. So we need
way
to
little
come to a
compared to Donald
consensus.
Trump.
Is it weird or no?
It's weird.
I think it's not.
All right, I'm gonna break the tie. I think it's not. Sorry. A Colorado baker sued for refusing to buy a wedding cake for a same-sex marriage. Is that weird or no?
Weird.
Why?
Mind your business and do your job.
Okay.
I feel like the rights, the LGBT has the same rights as me because we like something different. It's weird.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit there and put 2 women on a cake? Like.
Chicago woman sues the makers of Fireball liquor. Says Fireball cinnamon mini bottles are misleading due to lack of whiskey. Is that weird or no?
Weird.
It's weird.
Why?
Look at your alcohol and get a bigger proof. But that's their brand. That's what they wanted it to be.
Yeah, like how you gonna tell somebody how much alcohol? Like pick another bottle. That's it.
Yeah.
She said this shit ain't working.
There's some Knobs Creek. Get some more band or something.
Somebody needs some AA.
2 suburban officers charged with taking bribes, stealing cash and drugs during traffic stops. Is that weird or no?
Weird.
Okay.
No.
If
I was underpaid,
you'll do it too.
overtime like a motherfucker, probably underfucked, I would do it too. Taking bribes and minding my business. I mean, that's the best cop scenario I've ever heard.
So do y'all know about that sex prostitution ring?
Yeah, I said weird. She said nah.
Yeah.
But I used to be a state worker, and I'm gonna tell you, it won't be long, but it's gonna be short. Blagojevich created a rule. Well, there's a no bribery act. You know why he in jail? Because he crossed his own book. Fool, you played hangman with yourself. Hey, they take an oath as a cop. It's weird to me, but you got your own feeling.
I don't remember that.
What?
I don't remember that. The question about the cop. I mean,
no, the cops taking such and such. Blagojevich, who was he? Was he the mayor or whatever? But he created the bribery book. And there's you get hired, but as a state employee, you have to go through the whole bribery book and know what you can and can't do. Yeah. Idiot, you did everything you said you couldn't do it now.
Did y'all hear about the case of the woman that was a married police officer and she was fucking all the damn police officers?
Yeah, the one that got the hot dogs all over the screen. I'm like,
you gotta look into that. That's wild. 22-year-old TikTok star marries 59-year-old man after 5 days of physically dating. Weird. Or not?
Weird.
Why?
But go ahead, Nana Nicole.
I mean, yeah. He must have a life insurance, and she must be the beneficiary.
401k. Go ahead, do your thing.
Okay, that was weird or no. So thank you for playing. So we're gonna dedicate the last part of this episode to talk about the theme of season 2. So our theme is about healing your inner child. And you are a parent. You are not a parent. I just had a talk with one of my parents. And I think that we can really give some great commentary on just that power dynamic between a parent and a child, and how that relationship can really dictate the outcome of how that child will become. So give us a little bit of like just your upbringing and like the relationship between you and your parents when you were a child, and compare it to now that you're an adult.
I guess days were kind of different. The baby of 6, I was raised in a 2-parent household. My relationship with my family was okay, but I was raised in, I guess, what would be considered, I've never been in the projects or anything like that, but my family made just enough to make it. And they did the best that they could. It was Christmases, birthdays, a lot of things we went without wanting, and sometimes even lights and gas or whatever. Still remain close with my family. I'm in Vegas now because my mom and my dad there, but the things I went through and I endured as a kid made me a little different. And I gave my kids, they've never really had a want. You've been around me. My kids don't have a want and need, but it made them very entitled. Yeah. I got 4 big brats.
Okay.
I have a great relationship with my kids. Like, we're together, but when mommy say no, I still get tantrums. Like I got a 2-year-old. So I do appreciate, I was raised different. I got disciplined. I got my ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me a better person. It made me stronger in this world. It made me different in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to my kids, they got reprimanded sometimes. But I got a whole bunch of toddlers now because I overspoiled them to me.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I got to let go of everybody's hand. I just said this recently. I got to stop holding their hand on everything because I'm handicapping them.
Mm-hmm.
If something happened to me tomorrow, can y'all figure shit out?
Mm-hmm.
I still figure out things for my kids.
Okay. So you basically, do you think that if you would have not have given so much to your kids, they could have turned out differently?
They should have experienced some of the hardships I did
Okay.
for them to even understand just how good they got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they get it great. My parents wasn't able to give me a car. My kids all had cars at 16.
Mm-hmm.
My parents wasn't able to help me with my furniture or getting a house. When I separated, I gave them my house. I don't want nothing from it. Y'all decide what y'all want to do so the world can't get that mean on y'all. Go home if it get hard.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine this. They can't get along enough for them to all stay in the house together.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I had been a little more stern and a little less giving
Mm-hmm.
to make them just be better people because I'm dealing with, they're in the child now.
Mm-hmm.
One that I knew that I did raise, but didn't raise appropriately because I coddled them too much.
Mm-hmm. Compare that to your experience in growing up. Were you coddled or like how was your upbringing?
Completely different. It's just me and my brother. We're 7 years apart.
Yeah.
And I was raised by a single mother, immigrant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came here, she didn't speak any English. So I was raised with a stepfather. I had an absent father. I grew up confused on who my father was
Mm-hmm.
because my mom felt like, well, the man who's raising you is your father.
Mm-hmm.
The one who's taking you to the doctor, tucking me in at night is my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And the one who never shows up and is like every weekend and never shows up, like that's not my dad. But he had a different relationship with my brother because he's older. So, they did boy things and he would pick him up and I would stay home.
Yeah.
So, my mom did not spare the rod. She beat our asses. We were raised in fear,
Mm-hmm.
but I wish there would have been a lot more love growing up. I used to be like dancing in school and I thought I wanted to be a ballerina and, dreams like that get cut off when nobody comes to watch you perform
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
your mom has to go to work.
Yeah.
And, my dad was never present like that. So, growing up, now we have a better relationship because I've chosen to forgive
Mm-hmm.
her survival methods.
Yeah.
I know there's often times where I don't tell my mom everything. I don't want her to worry.
Yeah.
I'm an adult now. I have no excuses, At 32 she had 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different.
So she had her first child at 32?
No, she had my brother at 19.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And then she had me at 26, 27 around there. So
And you were born here in the States?
in New York, both of us. So being raised by a single mother, we had everything that we needed,
Mm-hmm.
nothing that we wanted. Looking back, at the time, I didn't know that we were poor. My house was clean. We had everything.
Yeah.
But then you grow up and, you're constantly in survival mode because you look different. Everybody hates you, my projects were predominantly Black. So every time I went to the store or to school, like it was just that fear of might have to get jumped.
Mm-hmm.
I was a sweet girl. I'm still sweet. But, that defense mechanism is just like you walk around like just go on guard all the time because you just don't know. You don't know who to trust. But with my mom, she didn't. I'm assuming that she knew what that was like before she had us.
Mm-hmm.
I give her a lot of grace because she was just figuring it out in a country where it was foreign to her.
Yeah.
She didn't know anything and she did the best that she could.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned out to be great. I had a job when I was 14 years old and she was very, very strict. And, she ended up leaving me when I was like 14, 15 because she had a court case in another country that my stepfather turned around and tried to steal everything that she was building for me and my brother. So it's like the little girl in me is like, damn, I need a mother. I'm a teenager. I have questions. You know, my body's changing. And she wasn't there. And she was just like, you know, when you're going through the rebellion stage, like you're not there.
Yeah.
But I'm taking care of myself. I'm grown. Yeah, I'm 15 years old. I'm grown.
Yeah.
And so listening to her is just like,
listen to me. What's the difference?
Speak on the stage that your parents say you were being a rebel, because that is a huge conversation between me and my parent.
Cause I'm talking back now.
Yeah.
I'm figuring things out. Like, hold up, it's not my dad. This is not my, you know. And then looking back at the abuse that I endured from this man who wasn't my father. Yeah. You know, and then be mad at my father because it's like, how could you let this happen? You're right. In another, you know, in Manhattan. And then just growing up and not being able to talk or tell anyone, or you're hiding marks and things like that. It was just very different. Like not being, I had people that wanted to adopt me when I was young. And it was like, I love my mom. Yeah. I love my mom. I feel bad because she did the best that she could. And that's what this is why I'm able to forgive her, because I don't want to tell her certain things because I don't want to break her heart. Because I've already, you know, let go and given it to God. Yeah.
But it doesn't let go. You still very much damaged. You speaking through pain. And I don't know why you say looking at me, you're like, hey, I don't know how my mom dealt with me sometimes. Rebel at 16. I was literally the first lady of the BDs in Riverdale. Like I was a horrible kid. Yeah. The rebel in me started early because I felt like I didn't have enough. So about 14, I found out what weed was and learned to sell it. Learned to bag it up and sell it. Learned to put myself on a different map. And while I'm thinking I'm doing good, my life is spiraling. To the point when I did get pregnant, I was 18 when I had my son, right before I turned 18. My mom and them thought I was not, they was probably going to keep my kid and raise him. I thought I was going to be the worst mom. Switch hit me. I cut off everything in life and had to become who I had to be to make sure I raised the life that I bought in this world. I didn't have it easy at all. And we beatings, sheesh. Reprimand, discipline, because you do rebel at some age when you feel like you're doing it for yourself. Like there's no way I should have been selling weed at 14. Paying for my own graduation dresses and stuff because I wanted to look a certain way. But that's when life is getting out of control for me because my mom and my dad did punch a clock and they did the best they could. But I was just being a rebel. I followed behind my brothers. Yeah. So it affected me a little different. But long run, I had to get it together. And it just, although my kids are brats, they're great. I've never had a kid that had to stay in school 4 years in high school. They all graduated at the top of their class. And they wasn't ditches. They people that loved, they all graduated with damn near 4.0. Like it makes me proud in that area that I know I didn't fail them in that area. And I feel like I stepped hard as a parent. Yeah. But there's a lot of things I should have stepped on that I didn't. And I kind of created some problems for y'all in the world.
Do you think that having more, like multiple children can create the job of being a parent harder? So like if you just had just one kid, do you think that you possibly could have been able to focus on more things with that one child?
I feel like one child would have been a burden on society.
Really?
It's very self-entitled, don't know how to adjust really. I had one. I had what they thought was perfect. I had my son, then I had my daughter. And then I decided they should both have a playmate. And let me tell you it was good. I didn't have a bad time raising my kids, but what I did, I put them in a box where they didn't, if you look at my nieces and nephews and how everybody is raised, my kids kind of just cling to each other. They don't need a best friend. They got a sister. They got a brother. They got a this, that, and the other. Yeah. But it took away their ability, the way I raised them and kept on with just me, took away their ability to socialize. Yeah. And that affected them somewhat in a weird way. My son will be in the house with me. I only see him for dinner. And that's if I don't take him to play. If I take him to play, or if he come down. But he'll be in the house with me a whole month. You'll never know that Amora was my oldest. You'll never know he's there. He don't make noise. He just be in his room. They're not sociable to me neither at all.
I think people raised on love and people raised in survival mode have two different perspectives on how the world goes. I just look at it like my situation. If I do have children, my kids will not get it from the mud. You know, they're going to get it from the garden that I planted for them. Mm-hmm. And I think that in my house, we didn't have a lot of conversations. You know, I don't know. My mom felt very weird about talking about sex, you know, because she felt like you're never going to have it.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's just certain conversations that, as uncomfortable as they are, like speaking about life insurance, like how to prepare yourself in an event where I'm not here. I've crippled you, right? You feel like you've crippled your children because you've given them everything. But if you weren't here tomorrow, how would it go? You know, your kids go to you for everything, but my mom comes to me for everything. Yeah. You know? And it's frustrating. Yes. It's frustrating because
I really want to know how your brother turned out, though, because I don't know much about him. Because you're a success.
I want to say he's a mama's boy, but he's like a fucked up person. You know, he's a great friend. He is not a good family member. Mm-hmm. My cousins, the males, might feel a little bit differently because they grew up. They're like best friends. Mm-hmm. But as far as being the man of the house, you know, he grew up a little bit faster being in the streets. And as a man and whatever he saw, I don't invalidate his experiences. Yeah. You know, he definitely wasn't happy when I was born, from the stories that I've heard. And again, being raised in a tiny apartment where you don't have space, where you're sharing with somebody you don't want to share with, you know, the arguments, the just like lack of space, a lack of opportunity. You don't really see anything. You want to go to the park, but it's not the safest place. Yeah. You want to go places, but you know, you're balling on a budget, right? I'm assuming my mom. And so I look for my brother. I don't know why he is. I look at it like, how did I reach this point where I could look at my mom and forgive her? Mm-hmm. Because it's like, you didn't know better, but you did the best that you could. And all I want to do is just thank you because I'm here now and I got you. And if
it's okay, take your time. It's very human, very human. Want to move past?
I just want to be there for her, you know, like that's really what it boils down to. Like, I know what it feels like to be lonely, and I can only imagine this is what she must have been feeling like.
Facts. I find so much connection with just your upbringing, because that kind of is how it is with me and my mom. I know that she's dead ass alone, and she just wants to feel like somebody needs her, like she's wanted. And she told me this yesterday on the phone. She said, when you told me that, I rejected it, but now I feel like you could have been right, and I definitely do want to feel needed by y'all. And because you are so independent and you stay away, I feel as if y'all don't love me or y'all don't care about me. And so I feel a lot of connection when you say that about your mom, because she probably is dead ass alone. And it's like you still want to keep your distance away from what still what issues you did still have with just your upbringing.
She was just here in Vegas with me for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, my apartment's not big enough for the both of us, because I'm so used to being by myself. And my mom, when she speaks, it sounds like she's yelling. Yeah. So sometimes I feel triggered, like, don't talk to me like that. Yeah. But all I want to do is make her proud, you know. And I know that she's proud of me, but I always tell her, like, don't be too proud of me, because I don't want God to think that your job is over. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to get you that house. I want you to, you know, just see your daughter and know that you did this. You know, like you did your job. That's all.
After you get a child to a certain age, when do you have that in you to, like, okay, I've done enough and they can go on their own, or do you feel like your job as a parent never ends?
Never ends. You'll never be done parenting ever. As of right now, I'm at the breaking point where me and Ingrid have been talking. I got to let everybody hands go. Mm-hmm. I've been talking to them, trying to groom him. And it ain't, I understand this. Well, wait, such and such is 28 and I'm only such and such now. Well, I got to be let go at the same time. And it's still a battle. Yeah. Parenting is never done, and I never look at giving up as a parent, because they're here because of my choice. Mm-hmm. But I do want them to stabilize and be able to be okay in this world in the event of my demise or anything.
Yeah.
I can be crippled and everything changes. Can y'all take care of me? Y'all seen me work my ass off to get to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Is it possible for y'all to be okay and y'all take care of me if something happens?
Do you think that is fair for your children? Because you keep saying your mom, she had to do what she had to do, working, so you forgive her. But it's certain things that I just can't forgive. It's certain decisions that both my parents made that it's like, why would you ever do that? And so I'm asking myself, like, hey, should I just forgive everything and they're their own separate entity? Or does those decisions that they did make are valid for me to be upset about?
You have every right to be upset to everything that affected you. Because for the most of it, you didn't ask to be here.
Yeah.
This is their decision that brought you here.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to get past them injuries, them cuts, until you deal with them. Like I tell her all the time, and I just told you, she's still raising that inner little girl in her. You'll continue to raise her. You're parenting you from the inside out. Until you can get her in a good place, you'll always have an emotional breakdown at points. And I know that kind of touched the nerve because she teared up, and I didn't have that upbringing, so it didn't hit me as hard. But to see the things I know my kids are going through, because of the way I raised them in nothing but love. But you can they say you can never love them. I overdid my part. So it's kind of hard to get them to back away and do some things, but you got a right to be upset until things are taken care of. So your feelings are addressed and taken in consideration. Why you feel this way. Accountability is very strong.
Have you ever had a conversation with your mom to talk about any issues or just traumas that you never spoke to her about?
A long time ago, maybe like 15 years ago. I was in the shower and she was, lack of privacy in the bathroom.
Yeah.
She just want to be talking. And I don't know what I was going through. I just remember I was sitting down, taking a bath, and I was just like, and I just told her a story, and she was just like, her reaction was what made me sadder, because she was just like, there's no way you remember anything from that time. You were like 4 or 5. And that just made it worse for me, because it's just like, but I do remember. I do remember. It's still with me. And, she said that, and then I just, fell back from it, because it's like, I don't want to break your heart.
Yeah.
I don't want to break your heart. And the thing about forgiveness is that it's for you.
Yeah.
I had to forgive for me. And for a long time, when things happen, or I'm just like, how do you forgive? Like, how is it a switch? Like, I want to forgive. I forgive you. I forgive you. Like, I want to forget. I want to let this go because I need to grow. And I feel like I'm still dealing with it. I'm still dealing with, like, I forgive her. I could be in the same room with her. I love her. But I forgive for me, because I have to let this go.
Yeah.
There's decisions that my mom and my parents made that, I don't agree with, and it affected me, but I also can't take that personally, because they had to make a decision.
Yeah.
Whether it was right or wrong, they had to do what was right for them at that time.
Yeah.
And although I could sit here and be like, my mom made all the wrong decisions, I can't judge her on it, because it's like, I don't know what she was facing or what she was dealing. And as a single mother, like, her mindset, like, I can't, I just know that even myself, like, I make decisions that, she doesn't necessarily agree with today. And all I could do is take it with a grain of salt, And then, you said you overlove, or you love them too much. But I promise you, when you're no longer here, they're not going to feel like you overlove them. If anything, they're just going to feel like, oh my God, I was so loved, and that's really what it doesn't matter what my mother did in the past or didn't do in the past, or it's how she shows up for me now. Because like she said, a mother's job is never over. So although you probably weren't there for me and or you weren't paying attention, because it's not that she wasn't there, it's just, things happen when you're not looking. Yeah. And now my mom is more present for me, and I can't talk to her like this because,
Yeah.
you know, there's a language barrier and there's things that I just can't. I'm frustrated because I can't translate. I could speak to her in English and she'll understand me, but it's just like, I want you to feel me. I don't want to break your heart, but I want you to understand, like, I'm not mad at you. I love you. I support you. I just want her to be happy. But like me forgiving her was for me.
Yeah.
Do you believe you completely forgiven her?
Great question.
Do you?
I do feel I'm just an emotional person.
Yeah.
So the thing is sometimes we suffer by the replay in our minds, you know, and it's more like, well, how do I let go of certain things that I just want to forget, you know? So for me, it's just that, like, it's so funny because I've never done anything like this.
Yeah.
I've never.
Yeah.
And I've avoided this because I always say that if I tell my story, I'm gonna cry. You know, I'm always gonna cry, and I can't. To me, it's like weak.
Yeah.
Just be crying in front of strangers, and just being this vulnerable. And, you know, I know it could help somebody. Somebody out there is going through the same thing or experience the same things that I did, but are we trying to be this vulnerable?
I used to think that way too. Like, I used to cry before I had to talk about something passionate, and it could be like me just trying to say something motivational to somebody. But because I didn't talk as a child, like I was a mute. All my family members would say that, like, I didn't talk until I was probably 6, maybe. I just didn't speak, and so I stayed that way. Like, I'm pretty reserved. Like, you can speak
Don't
on
talk
that
now, but she'll slat a quick joke in.
It's just when I'm uncomfortable around you, that's when it starts coming out. So when I started practicing more on building my voice, I'm able to build a podcast to help other people be able to speak, because we don't have these conversations often, and it eats us away. And so I definitely would love for you to rip the Band-Aid off and go talk to your mom and say everything that you are afraid to say.
I second that.
Yes.
I don't know about that.
and
I don't. My fear is like, what if I go and I tell her all of this, and then, you know, not to be morbid, and then she dies.
That's a valid thought.
It's the last thing that I said to her. Like, I broke my mother's heart.
Yeah.
I want her to just, these years that I have with her, to just be creating new memories.
Would you rather smile every day knowing that you're destroyed in the inside, and you just take a fake persona of yourself to deal with her pain, so to deal with her happiness, so you don't have to deal with her pain, than just sitting down, hey, your mom, this affected me, this, that, and other. You might not understand it or feel the way I feel, but it's a big burden on me, so I need to tell you this. And from that point, just let it go. I assure you, when you let that part of you go, it'll take away a lot of that pain.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to argue and go back and forth with her about how she could have dealt with nothing different. I do appreciate my kids to do that. They'll come to me. If something really, really bothered them that I did, let's politic about it. Because it's not an area that I can't take in with my kids. My mama is going on 70, and I still tell her the decisions she made that might have affected me different. I will sit in front of her now and tell her that. And she don't have to be as receptive, but you will know and understand my point. Even if you don't understand it, this is what hurt me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it might take a load off you just to take it out and just spend time with her, and just, even, I was there 2 months. If you let it go little by little, and this, and this, and this, just little by little. I'm not saying just dump a big load on her.
Yeah.
But you got to get you to a healthier point, because you're saying if she died today, you don't want that to be the last thing on her mind, but you don't want to be stuck with all of that stuff inside of you neither. And then you trying to raise a kid, you steady on eggshells because you scared you're going to become her or what happened to you.
Yeah.
You don't want to question yourself for the rest of your life. Just my thought. Can't tell you how to deal with yourself.
Said this on the pod before. Your parents had their own story, and what happened to them in their upbringing happened to them, and it was not their fault. But it is their responsibility to repair their story, so that when they have children, that their story don't become their children's story. And so if you do not want your story to replicate her story, you have to rewrite it. And that starts with talking to the authors that contribute to your story.
Yeah, that and creating the life that I want to see for myself, you know, because I was raised very differently. So being able to, like, watch my child grow up, because I could work from home, I could work from anywhere, exposing them. Like, I have, you know, a nephew who's 18 years old, and I kind of raised him. and all I want to do is like protect him and shelter him. And I know that, like, I guess that'd be like a parent in me that I just want to, because he doesn't have to go through what me or my brother went through. And I don't know why kids always feel like I gotta do it by myself. Yeah. It's like, I get it, but ask questions, you know, like, let me guide you.
You don't have to do it by yourself.
This might not be a thought that ever crossed your mind, somebody, but have you ever thought about doing this exact same cast now, but with men? There is so many.
I always have, majority of the people we bring on are men.
I'm saying there's so many so damaged, and what we're speaking on now, they're so damaged, but so scared to just tell a story. Like, we're more emotional creatures. Yeah. So we connect a little different. Yeah. But there's so many men that's locked in this box in their head. Yeah. That's prisoners of their own mind and soul.
There go again. Women are more emotional creatures. I do not.
That's why God's a woman.
I think we're more emotionally intelligent.
I think we're more emotionally intelligent or competent.
Shout out D Brown.
Yeah, shout out D Brown. But I respectfully disagree with you. We talked about this last episode. I think that we are just more emotionally competent and aware to have conversations, to be within our emotions. Men have been conditioned to think that they can't, when you literally just can't.
We're conditioned to think all men think that way. How big of an open book is Tyree when he's talking to me and he don't know you're not there? Hey, I know he's a man that will sit and do well on your platform because he's been in the box too long. Yeah. And I got to remind him sometimes when we're going through things, hey, your past ain't your present. I understand you got wounds. Yeah. Perfect package, damage in translation, damage getting to me. Yeah. Let's work on who you are and let's work on who I am. Yeah. Because the damage of 27 years with the same person. I gave half of my life, but I gave it up. When I was strong enough, I walked away to be a healthier me. But I understand what you're saying. They are conditioned to, you can't cry, you can't have emotion, you can't this, you can't that, and that breaks a lot of them down because they feel like they got to deal with shit by themselves.
Yeah. It's funny because that's how I feel. Like I want to pick that part up that men have, because it's like, I don't want to cry. I don't want to sit here, being emotional. They already view us weak. Society views a woman weak if she has too much to say, or if she,
society views Black women different too. So it's a lot of layers.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that'll definitely be a good situation to get the other perspective.
I have a lot of men that come on the pod. We just had my uncle come on the pod yesterday. We had an episode with him, and this is his first time publicly speaking about anything that has to do with trauma or his upbringing. And so tell Tyree he has a space here if he would ever want to be a guest on the pod.
Next time I come, I'll let you know when we're coming in. Okay. Because on the intellectual, Lord, he's a nerd, but he'll definitely sit and probably bring a great amount of views because of who he is in a digital world. People tune in to hear his voice, but never heard his story. Never know why he's the way he is or about him there. So next time I'll let him know.
Yeah. Do you all have any gems that you would like to drop before we close out on the episode? Whether it's financial, life advice, just something to give.
If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
Okay.
I guess something funny. Don't look for welfare, but look for your fair share. Don't give up in life. Don't grow complacent. Hey, ain't nothing that I can and not is not a part of my dictionary. And I just don't ever see myself being okay. Like, you ask how I see myself in that level, I feel like I'm educated, but I can use more. I'm financially stable, but I can be way more stable. Yeah. Like, keep your head up. Yeah. The world's in a different state. Keep your head up and keep striving in this.
Yeah. Also, one more thing to do. I want you, if you've never had a conversation with your mother, what is something that you would love to say? And then I'm going to come to you before we end this.
She can't speak that much English. She ain't going to
know. What I would love to say to her,
you got it. Just one thing. Let me come back to you. Okay. Javassier, what is one thing that you would like to say to anybody that you have never said, whether it's your children, your husband, your ex-husband, your mom, your dad, whoever?
To my parents, y'all did the best y'all can, but I spend my days now doing as much as I can for them. For my ex-spouse, hey, work on who you are, or you'll never be who you should be in life.
Mm-hmm.
You can't play victim to a situation you create.
Mm-hmm.
And to my kids, I did all I can. And I'm going to continue to do, but y'all got to keep growing with or without me.
Yeah.
They have to grow.
I would tell my mom how proud I am of her and everything that she had to go through to get us to where we got.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to put that in Espanol. I'm going to try to put those subtitles there. And
no, but she'll understand that.
Okay.
You can't say that, but can you say it? You just say it in Spanish just for us to hear.
Que estoy bien orgullosa de la mujer que ella es y todo lo que ella hizo por nosotros, sus hijos, y que la quiero mucho.
Thank you. It is tax season, and if you do not have a tax preparer or someone to guide you in the right way to get that refund, make sure you hit up Javassier, hit up Ingrid, or hit up me, because we all work in the same office, and I will put our contact information in the descriptions. This was episode 30, and make sure that you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and on your favorite streaming platform, make sure you leave us a rating. Thank you.
Just watch the damn podcast.